Hello again. In this video, we shall delve on functions. Actually, this is chapter 4, and in this case, we are going to deal with functions, and specifically, we shall look at the function structure and function calling. As a worked example, if you look at this particular code, you find that this is what we have been calling the main function. It has the name which is main, and it ends by opening and closing bracket. But in addition, it has got a type that it is a function of type integer, which will return 0 to the operating system when it comes to the end. But again, you can see now it starts with opening curly bracket and closing curly bracket, and this is what we call the body of the function, while this is what we call the header of the function. Now, this particular function can be split into two to form two pieces of code, but yet operating in tandem. If you come here, you can see now I have a similar situation, but the name is different. I call this one child instead of main. I have opening and closing curly bracket, but inside here I have declared a variable which I call x. Normally you learn that it is called parameter, and it has the body where the curly bracket is opening and it is closing here, and in the body we have a variable multiplying by itself, and there is this keyword return. This keyword now is telling this function to return the result that is obtained from this operation. Now, the returned value will be accepted in the function that has called this particular function. If you come here, you find that this is another function of type integer, but its name is main, and it is starting with this opening curly bracket ending here. This body of the function has declaration of variables, it has entry of data, although it does not have operation. Here, the function that is called child is being called. Instead of multiplication here, there is function calling here, and what happens once this word is mentioned, this particular function which is called child will be executed, and once it is over, the result that it gets will be brought to this particular function and inputted in this variable, and this particular statement will continue, and the program will end up here. So you can see now that this single program can be split into two, where you have one piece of code called we are calling it a child, and it is starting and ending here, but then it will be sending results to another piece of code which mentioned it earlier, and in that regard you find that two functions, one is called child and one we have called it main, are working together to accomplish the same particular objective. Now, the motivation for function is that a function is a trick used in programming to divide and conquer, splitting a program in more than one parts. It is easier to handle programs in distinct functional pieces. As we shall see once we get used to it, we are going to appreciate that splitting functions in smaller pieces makes it easier to remember where to fix and what to fix at a certain moment. But again, if we come back and find that every function in its structure, it has got what we call a header, which is the name of that function, which is mentioned, and it must be concluded, or it must end with brackets, with or without anything in the bracket. Just as you can see here, this is the header, and this is the name of this function, and this is what we call parameters, which can be introduced according to the function of that particular function. But what follows is the body, and in the body there is either variable declaration and operation, or there may be variable declaration, data entry, and function calling. So far, that is as far as functions are concerned. We are going to delve more on functions when we implement them in the preceding videos and when we try to dry run programs with functions using RAM diagrams. For now, we are not going to use physical models because we already know that physical models and RAM diagrams are doing one and the same thing. For now, thank you and bye-bye.